when you really pay attention, real estate is the fundamental of everybody's lives. And if you listen, I mean, there's just opportunities everywhere.
Welcome to Real Estate Success Partner. We're your hosts, Devin, Dubuc,
David, Nguyen,
and we're here to talk about how to have great success in every market. Hey, today, guys and gals, we've got a returning guest, Joe Bondio, from the Dubuc team at Click and Close Mortgage. Joe's out there in Kansas, my hometown of Salina. But Joe, you've brought somebody pretty epic today, good friend of mine, but I'm going to let you do the intro because this is your guest, brother. So who'd you bring along today?
Yeah, absolutely. I brought my buddy, Ben Belshe. He's a part of Kansas Collective Real Estate Group with Real Broker LLC. He's an entrepreneur. He is a landlord to some. He owns a few different businesses, and most of all, he's a realtor here in Salina and does a pretty awesome job at it. So welcome, Ben.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, welcome to the show, brother. And yeah, absolutely. Man of many traits and just a great guy in general. So super excited to have you on the show. Ben, so talk to us a little bit about, your background. Are you from Salina originally?
No. So I came out to Salina in 2010, actually, to go to Salina Tech for diesel, of all things. And long story short, diesel kind of took me into the ag field, and I worked for a big farm northwest of Salina where I kind of built my network of farmers and just in the rural realm. Kind of got burnout, not necessarily burnout, but it was just one of those deals where a big family operation, blood runs thicker than water. And I knew if I was going to achieve my goals, I was going to have to do something on my own, so was approached about getting into real estate, got licensed in 2018, quit my job, cold turkey, and went all in real estate and never looked back. So,
what's funny about that is you and I met right around that time, before Joe started working over here at Click and Close Mortgage. So I've seen, your start and where you've gotten today. And brother, it's impressive what you've accomplished just in those quick 6 years that you've been in this industry. So, again, kudos to you, for having the foresight to say, hey, this is not where I'm going to be in my life. I've got big aspirations and I'm going to make good on that. And, here you are, you're making those dreams come to light. So great stuff, brother. But let's talk about first steps. So 2018, you're coming off of the farm and you're transitioning into real estate. What made you decide to go that direction? Why'd you pick real estate?
So there was never really that one thing I just really wanted to do growing up. There wasn't anything that I was just like, oh, I want to be a veterinarian, or you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I did the farming thing. I loved farming. But I'm so good with people, and I knew I wasn't utilizing my natural abilities to their full potential, being sitting in a tractor all day, essentially.
Yes, sir.
And I didn't really know what the right thing was, but we bought our first house in 2013, and the agent at the time that sold me our house, he's actually who got me convinced to get into real estate. And he just said, you've got the charisma, you've got the personality. This is something you should look into. And I was just like, nah, dude, no way. I'm not, going to quit my job to, not have a stable paycheck, especially with getting ready to have a kid, at the time and whatnot. And anyways, he consistently, fundamentally taught me a lot of things that have helped me have success, and consistently followed up with me, to become an agent. And it was Next Home that I started with, and he opened the brokerage here in Salina. And one day he hit me up out of the blue again when I was just kind of down and out and burnt out and didn't know which direction I wanted to go. And I was like, you know what, I'm ready to talk. And went and met with him, started the process of getting licensed. And when the time came, I knew I'm not the type to if I had a safety net of like continuing working a full-time job and trying real estate part-time, I knew I wouldn't give it my all.
Yeah.
I've always been kind of a back against the wall kind of guy. So
let's go.
I know a lot of agents don't take that route, and I'm not saying one way is right or wrong, but I knew that was what would, hold me accountable to be successful and give it my all. So
it's awesome, man. Hey,
yeah.
I know, Salina is a little big city. People tend to know each other. You mind giving that agent that had the foresight to see an amazing opportunity to bring somebody like you in the business just a quick plug?
Yeah, absolutely. It was Owen Freiberger. He's no longer in Salina. He's actually out in Western Kansas now. But yeah, I owe a lot to him for my early success and mentorship for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, so you come in 2018, and I know you hit the ground running, but it may not have felt like that to you. How did those first couple of months, first year look, transitioning into the industry?
It's terrifying. You get, and I'm such a big proponent of never, obviously not counting your eggs before they hatch, number one, but number two, I got caught up early on. I'd get 1 or 2 deals under contract and you're like, okay, great. I've got X amount of commission in the bag for next month. Well, you can't think like that. You just constantly have to be filling that pipeline. And I think agents kind of especially new agents kind of get stuck in a pattern of, getting 1 or 2 deals under 1, 2, 3 deals under contract. Great. And then they close them. And then it's like a roller coaster,
Yeah.
And in order to maintain consistency, you can't babysit the deals you have going. You constantly have to be looking for that next deal and following up with everybody you've got in flow and keeping that pipeline full, because if you fall into that pattern, it's more of a feast or famine type.
That's true. That's true.
Thing to get into.
Let's talk about that a little bit. So you first get in, you haven't done real estate before. Where'd you find your business? How'd you find, clients? What did that look like?
I was fortunate. Owen would definitely throw me some bones, and early on, those bones might be a $20,000 lot or something, but I didn't care. I was hungry and I wanted to, I needed to make money because I had a family to feed. But I took every opportunity that was thrown at me and ran with it. And I would just have little competitions with myself. I'd order a box of 250 business cards and I'd tell myself, I'm going to get rid of this. I will have all of these business cards handed out by the end of the month. Little things like that. And even if it was handing cards out to strangers at Walmart, I've sold 2 houses from just running into people, like overhearing. When you really pay attention, real estate is the fundamental of everybody's lives. And if you listen, there's just opportunities everywhere. And I'm very much introverted. I had to train myself to approach people because that's not who I am. But just, looking for opportunities, shaking the bushes in every area you can. And just really being relentless early on. Like I said, I wasn't afraid of windshield time. If I had to drive an hour to go show a house, I was totally fine with it. And I still do that. I still very much serve a large, all of central Kansas, really.
That's right. That's right. So. You said something, and this is our mentor talks about this a lot. And Joe, you hear me talk about it all the time, right? But it's how bad do you want it, right? Well, you got a new kid at home and a family to support, and you just quit your soul supporting job that pays all your income. Brother, you had to want it pretty bad, huh?
Oh yeah. Yeah. You can't, yeah. And to me now, with obviously, we're really never off, but the flexibility and freedom that comes with entrepreneurship, I could never give back up, I don't think. So, and I try to keep that in perspective. That's one of my big whys is, to keep trying to be busy and keep everything rolling, because I don't want to be back in that position of no, you can't have this weekend off. We need you. I want to be able to call the shots as far as that goes.
Yeah. Well, you said something I've honestly never heard anybody said. I've heard people say, "Hey, I made a lot of phone calls." I've heard people say, "Hey, I've bought leads." I've heard people say, "I reached out to my sphere of influence." You said, "I bought a box of business cards."
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, and I said, I'm gonna give every one of these out within the next 30 days. And I've never heard anybody say that, but that's
genius.
It's genius. It's absolutely genius, because you're right. You may have reached out somebody who said, "Man, I don't know a real estate agent. I want to buy a house. This guy gave me his card. I'm going to call him." So brother, that's awesome. It just shows the urgency. I'm going to make money. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to figure it out, man. And that's pretty epic. Joe, let me ask you a question. You've been with me for a few years now, and we'll talk a little bit about how you got on the team. But have you ever handed out an entire box of business cards in 30 days?
Not in 30 days, no.
We might need to.
I think when you first get them, it's almost like a trophy.
Yeah.
What's that?
Said we might need to take a page out of Ben's book, brother.
Absolutely, yeah. I think early on, when you first get your first box of business cards, it's almost like a trophy. Like, oh man, these are awesome. For me, I tend to hang on to them more than I should, because that's a great strategy. Why do I need them? I need to be handing these things out.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let's talk about
now I get home.
You guys know each other, and you guys knew each other before Joe started with the branch, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
How'd that happen? How'd you guys and how'd Joe get here? And how'd you get in the mortgage business?
You want me to take this? So, yeah, absolutely. So I met Ben when I was working at an eye doctor's office here in Salina. I just had a
going to take a stab at
careers.
You weren't the eye doctor, right?
No, I was like the male nurse, pretty much.
Yeah.
I did a lot of basically, yeah. I did a lot of the pre-testing, and then I would teach people how to wear contacts, and that's kind of where I met Ben. He was learning how to wear contacts for the first time, and so he was in my office, and I was there, walking him through the steps of opening up his eye and sticking a foreign object into it, which is definitely not natural to do. It takes a lot of practice. So we began talking and learned a little bit about Ben, and we had a lot of hobbies in common. One of them was fishing, and we just kind of hit it off and became friends, and somebody I kind of looked up to because, working not as a doctor in an eye doctor's office, there's definitely an income limit that you can reach. And I was really close to the limit, and looking at all different other opportunities. And Ben, it was in real estate and doing very, very well, and still does for him and his family. And somebody who I, began to look up to as far as, hey, if he's making great money to support his family, I should be looking at other opportunities and to do the same. So
you go from helping him with the contacts. How did that get you over into this space?
Yeah. So we became friends, and we started fishing together. We go on overnight kayak trips on the river. Me and a group of friends, and we would just talk, and I'd overhear him talking about business and real estate and mortgage. One of the other guys who was on the trip with us is another mortgage guy, and I just thought, wow, that would be something cool to look into. And Ben knew that in college I did photography as one of my classes in college. So he asked me to start doing photography of the houses he was listing. So I would go out and shoot photos for him for some of his listings and get those back to him. And then we just developed a relationship. And there was an opportunity where a door was wide open as far as, Mid-America Mortgage at the time needed another loan officer. And Ben reached out to me and was like, why don't you try that? You have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. I think you could do this. And it never once crossed my mind, what my next step was, but I saw it as a pretty unique opportunity that, definitely changed my life. So I want to say thank you for that. Because,
absolutely.
It's been great. I've been able to provide way more than I ever have for my family. So,
well, what year was that?
That's kind of how it, what's that?
What year was that?
That would have been 2018 or 19.
19.
Probably 19.
Yeah.
And then so Ben knew Devin and got with Devin and said, "Hey, I have somebody here in Salina that you need to meet." And then me and Devin had lunch together one day at Dimer
Drove out
here in
there.
Salina, Kansas. And yeah. And then the rest is history, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I met Joe, and you just know, like, in this industry and what we do and the type of personality type you have to have, just, you know, to be able to accommodate talking with all walks of life, you know, from all sorts of backgrounds. You just know when somebody has it, you know if they have it, you know if they don't early on. At least I feel like I do. And I knew just from talking to Joe, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You get into this, like, you will be so successful. Like, you could just tell from talking to the guy, you know, he'd have it, you know, and he's obviously proven that he does.
So you had somebody,
and it's scary.
Yeah. Well, as I say, you had somebody that scouted you out as talent and said, "Hey, you need to get out of what you're doing and come over and do this." And you know, here you are, just a year later. You know, you're still pretty new to the industry. You know, rubbing elbows with somebody else, saying, "What are you doing over here? You need to be doing this." So now we've got not a farmer and not an eye doctor who was never an eye doctor, right? Who are both in the industry, realtor and entrepreneur, and we've got loan officer and successful branch manager of our Salina location. You know, and you guys are having great success. Let me ask you a question, Ben. Have you ever made more money in your professional career than you've been making right now?
No.
Yeah.
No, 2024, I'm off, and I don't even really have a reason, I guess. But 2024, thus far, I'm off to the best start I've ever been.
Let me help you, Ben.
And last year was, I'm not going to say a stagnant year, but
2023 was.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
They're saying that 2023 was the worst year in the last 30 years, even worse than 2008. And, you know, 2024 already this year is about a 25% increase from 2023. So, man, if you had a good 2023, you're going to even have a better 2024.
Well, more importantly, though, you got to look at this
2020,
2021, 2022. Those are some of the best years in mortgage, and he was in those. Yeah. But he's making more money now, and that's because of his activity and the fact that he's been relentless with his approach on how he does business. But let's talk about you too, Joe. You're in the mortgage industry now. Have you ever made more money in your career as a professional in any industry than what you're making right now?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Well, I saw.
Mortgage has changed my life. Go ahead, Davis.
I said I saw your production report, Joe, where everybody had the worst year in 2023. You had the best year ever in 2023. So that's a testament to what you guys are doing out there. That's phenomenal.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, it's the activity, you know, it's the activity and game, recognizing game, you know. Ben's over here going, hey, this guy's he's got to get into this industry, and we can be friends outside of work, but we can make a lot of money together as friends. And you know, now you've got somebody, Ben, that you can rely on to get your loans closed that you know, like, and trust, and like vice versa, right, Joe? You know, when you've got a customer who's trying to get qualified for financing, they're in great hands with Ben, and you guys have made a great team out there. I was sitting here thinking about it, and it's like, man, these guys need to start their own podcast, you know, not an eye doctor and not a farmer, right? And just go for two guys and a couple of guys.
Yeah, we were just saying that too.
Yeah. I think you guys would do well with that. It'd be. I'd listen to it. I'd listen in. So.
Yeah. So Ben, what's entrepreneurial? You're a realtor. You also own some investment properties. Anything else? What else do you do out there?
Yeah, so I've got a couple partners too. We've got a small portfolio of rental properties, and then we also own a small town bar and grill and live music venue called the Lumberyard out in Tuscany, Kansas. And I'm still very heavily involved, but I'm as hands off as possible with that. Real estate is 100% my bread and butter. These are just other opportunities that kind of presented themselves. And we live out in Tuscany. I've lived there since 2013 and know how important that little restaurant is to the area. So when it was closed for 6 to 8 months, I think, and it really just put a hurting on the area. It's just extremely vital, to these small towns, and the opportunity presented itself to get it opened back up, and it's been fun might be a stretch, but it's been a good experience.
Let's talk small town real quick, because I know the area well. A lot of folks don't realize this, but I'm from Salina, where Joe operates out of, and my mom taught at Bennington Teskett, which 2 different cities, right? But such a small area, they only needed one teacher that could transition back and forth for their learning disabilities program, right? So, just how big, small is Teskett, right? What kind of a city are we talking about?
I think we're like 300. The population's like 315.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not. But
not having a place for folks to go, have their community, right? Break bread, hang out together, eat meals together. Because we know, in these smaller communities, I know growing up in them, those little restaurants, they become the lifeblood of the city. People come there and they get to talk to each other, and it just becomes kind of the public place for everybody to create a community, So, I think, what you've done there, sure, it's a business, it's an opportunity, but I think there's something selfless about that too. Cause as you said, it wasn't so easy to get it back up and running, but to take the opportunity to go out there and open that place back up and give people a place to be able to go and break bread together, man, that's awesome that you did that. And let me ask you another question. You think had you not gotten into real estate, that you'd be a part business owner of, a dining establishment and have multiple rental properties?
There's the restaurant. There's absolutely no way. The rental properties has always been something. I didn't grow up around it. Like my parents didn't do it or anything like that. It's something that I've always wanted to get into. And I've never really put 2 and 2 together until I became licensed. That like I couldn't have possibly picked a better career to start investing in real estate than be a real estate agent, so that just kind of went well hand in hand. But we flip houses too. We've also we try to do 2 or 3 a year, whether I do it on my own or sometimes I'll partner up with another guy that we own the investment properties with.
Yeah.
But that's another thing that we like to do.
We talked about this the other day, and I think it's a good opportunity to bring it up on the podcast because you may get some of the local market that hears about this. But, there's some great loan opportunities that we provide at Click and Close, that will really help, revitalize those homes or help investors like yourself, who want to do multiple projects without having to utilize your own capital, to achieve those things. One of those is our renovation loan product, which can be done on government and conventional loan types. And it doesn't take somebody with, A++ credit to qualify for it, where you can take an existing home that might need some tender love and care. And we know Salina is full of those homes, right? And you can actually take it and you can rebuild it to be the modern, beautiful home that you want it to be with the bank's money, right? What a novel idea, not having to write a check out of your own pocket to make that happen. And they utilize the appraised value of the property after the completion of the project, not the before value of the property. So a lot of folks don't realize, you can take the home that you're living in right now and you can make it look like a brand new home without having to have cash out of pocket. And I think that's a great opportunity for you guys there. But the other one you and I talked about is that one-time close program. And we're one of the unique lenders in the U.S. that has the ability to do it in all 50 states on USDA loan types, which means no money out of pocket, roll up to 6 months of payments into the transaction, and you can build your dream home anywhere you want. Last time I looked, if you look around Salina, Teskett, or Bennington, there's a little bit of land out there. Wouldn't you guys say?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And that could be somebody's new home, right? So ultimately, if you're a home purchaser and you're out there thinking, man, there's no way I could build a brand new house. I don't have any cash to put down. I don't own the land. I think Joe and Ben could probably help you with that. Ben could help you find the land. Joe could help you finance it. And Ben, last time I looked, you're heavily involved in new construction as well. You know a lot of those folks out there as well. You could probably find somebody to build it for them, huh?
Yeah. No, that's definitely a product we'd love to see being used around here. For sure.
Yeah. And, what we talk about for the investors too, this is a product, if you're out there and you own the land and you want to build homes on it, but you don't have the capital to just build 100 homes, you can use our money to do it, right? So, you know, if you're out there wanting to invest in some property, you know, buy up some acreage and start your own, you know, mini subdivision, but you didn't want to have to sport the cash to pay for all the houses as they come up, you can utilize our program to do this. So, you know, I think it's a great one for us to get out there because it really is a great opportunity for folks that want to help revitalize the city by improving on the homes that already exist. But simultaneously, it's a great opportunity to get out there and build brand new homes for folks that are in that middle class range that can't afford these higher end homes that are being built out there. You know, we see a lot of stuff coming up at the higher price point markets, but the folks out there that want to buy that $200,000-$300,000 house, they're very limited on what opportunities they have. But with these programs, you could build that house from the ground floor up, get a brand new house, have more than just a couple of square footage of the yard, right? You might even be able to get a full acre of a lot, right? And do it at the same price point of buying something that's maybe a little bit older that needs some TLC. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think, I mean, it does something for our community too. It takes some of these kind of older houses that need renovation, that have wallpaper, that have lath and plaster walls, and help improve them and bring up complete neighborhoods values up. And definitely, I think that's something that we should definitely look at improving on doing, and not only just for us, you know, but for the whole community. I think that'd be awesome, and definitely on the agenda for sure.
Well, I get it, man. You know, there's so much to do out there in this industry, but, you know, you guys have made a big footprint in your area. And, you know, this is just another thing I see you guys being able to do that's just going to, you know, really help that community flourish even greater than it already is. So, and for those of you that don't know Salina, tell the folks a little bit about where you guys live, right? You know, what's that life like? And what I'm talking about is, you know, the downtown area, the repurposing of, you know, things that have been in the community for years. You've got a real slice of heaven in Salina, Kansas. You know, tell folks about what's it like to live out there in Salina.
So I live in Salina. It's about 50,000 people in total. I've seen a lot of change. I've only been out here since 2012, where I moved from California out to Salina, and I love it. By the way, everybody, you know, goes crazy about that, but I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. I really do enjoy living here. And I've seen a lot of improvement since I've been here. I mean, just in restaurants, like Chipotle was a big one when it came out. That was awesome. But other things too, like Sam's Club and all these other big retail places coming to Salina. But not only that, they've heavily invested in the downtown here in Salina and revitalized it. I mean, millions and millions of dollars have been given to support the revitalization of downtown, and they're continuing to pour money into the city and bring it back. And they've done a great job, I think. I know the River Project is one that they've talked about a lot, that I don't know the specifics as far as how much funding is available, but there's a lot of new things coming up for Salina.
Yeah, when I first came to Salina, I actually grew up in Kansas City. My mom lived in Kansas City. My dad lived in north central Missouri. So Salina is significantly smaller than what I was used to as well. And I really like it's a very community centric town. Everybody wants to see Salina succeed here. And in the summertime, when the weather starts getting nice, like today's probably one of the nicest days we've had all year so far. I love, the town just comes to life when in the springtime and the tree, everything's greening up. So many people are out riding bikes, walking their dogs. Like it's just has a very fun, friendly atmosphere just pulling into this town.
Yeah. To add on that, my neighbors, everybody on Fridays, like today, everybody hangs out in their front yards. We have lawn chairs. We all just sit out, maybe have a beer, grill some food, and just hang out. And all the kids will play in our neighborhood. So I really, really love that, which we didn't have that back where I was in California, unfortunately.
No, there's a real sense of community. And, you know, one thing that I always loved growing up, and I'm sure you guys still have that tradition, the Smoky Hill River Festival, right? Is that still a big thing in the summertime there in the community?
Yeah, actually, I've been out here 11 years now, and 14 years. And last year was the first time I actually went. And after going, I finally get the hype because it's pretty cool. I'm a huge live music guy. That's part of the reason I wanted to get involved with the Lumberyard, because of the venue we have there. And so live music's near and dear to me, and the Smoky Hill River Festival is kind of centered around live music and art in general. So it's a really cool annual festival they do here.
Yeah, the music.
Yeah, I've been there a couple of times.
Yeah, music, the arts, the play day for the kids, right? You know, the food. You got all the food vendors that come in, man. You know, I mean, I remember growing up, and that was the thing to do. So you guys didn't grow up there. I didn't grow up there, right? You know, so I got to experience that as a kid. You know, and man, that was probably my favorite thing every summer was, man, the River Festival's coming to town. So I love that it's still there. Joe, you were saying
awesome.
you finally got a chance to visit.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, it's something my wife, her dad actually gets to perform. A lot of times he does live music, and he's in a band here locally, and they support a lot of local people. So I don't know, I've probably been 4 times, and each time it's been really cool to go watch him perform and his band. They probably do, I don't know, 10, 20 bands, people from all over too, not just here, but and they bring in a bunch of food trucks, like you said, and all the kids are running around, and everybody has lawn chairs and drinks, and it's a really, really cool event if you haven't been.
Yeah, it's something special, you know, to be able to have that kind of community. You know, like you said, Joe, sitting out on a Friday afternoon with all your friends, just hanging out with the kids, running around. That's the American dream, man. And you guys get to serve that up, you know, with what you do. You know, you're making people homeowners in such a beautiful place. So, you know, hats off to both of you guys. You know, Ben, I know we can't keep you guys here all day, but I'm sure you got a couple things you'd love to talk about in your business. You know, what didn't we cover today that we should have?
I don't know. I know we kind of discussed, you know, like I guess I'm a big why person. And, you know, in the pre-podcast interview, I brought up, I lost both of my parents relatively young. I lost my dad when I was 16, and then I lost my mom when I was 25. And and I'm an only child on top of that. So kind of having the rug pulled out from under you that early in life really instilled a sense of urgency to me to just accomplish as much as I can as quickly as I can. And I think everybody that knows me, like I don't really have a slow gear in my body. I'm always going one way or another. And I attribute that, I think, whether it's a trauma response or not, you know, I attribute a lot of that to my success, my early success. And it's just important to me to do as much good as I can while I'm here, you know, to leave behind for my son and everybody in general, you know.
I mean, it's inspiring for me, you know, going back to when I was working at the eye doctor's office, seeing a guy, you know, who wasn't in his 30s at the time, young 20s, making more than 6 figures, you know, was pretty unheard of here in town, I would say. So seeing somebody as successful as Ben, and it was somebody that I looked up to, and I still do. So yeah, I think that's awesome that, you know, an unfortunate event happened, but it pushed you to achieve the success in that, because that's inspired me too. So
well, it is inspiring.
And I know you lost your mom here recently as well, Devin. And I don't want to like say it in a way that you hate for somebody to go through that, but at the same time, I wish people realized how precious it is while you have it, because once it's gone, it's gone. And you know, like I said, I owe those losses to my success, and I try to have those conversations with people. And I'll be with some of my buddies fishing with their dads or something. It's like, dude, don't take this for granted, you know, because you don't realize how good you have it, you know.
Well, brother, it's strange to say that, because as we're sitting here having this podcast, I can tell you literally one room to the left of you is the rest of my mom's things that I haven't come to collect from Salina. And, you know, I remember sitting, next to her, as she was passing, and just like you, Ben, I said some words to her, and I said, Mom, I said, if you think I've done a lot with my career so far, watch what happens here, because I'm going to take the rest of my life and I'm going to dedicate it to doing, huge things so I can leave behind a legacy for my kids, because, I want to do this to take back everything that you lost. And, that was important to me to be able to have that moment with her, to say those things. And it's an inspiration to me that, I'm going to always strive to be the best that I can possibly be and push harder, because, I want to see, the success of my kids, just like you did, Ben. You want to see the success of your kids. You don't want your kids to go through the pain and struggles that you went through. And I can't even imagine at such a young age, having that taken away from you. But let me tell you something, brother. There's something really inspiring about that, because there's two different ways that people handle those things. Most people, they don't do what you did. Most people go the exact opposite direction. And you took that as an opportunity to say, you know what, I'm going to rise up and I'm going to do something great as a result of this. And that's why I have a tremendous amount of respect for you, because this is something that's really hard, and a lot of people will never experience or understand that pain. And you've taken it and you've spun it into just nothing but successes in your life. And now you've got a kid behind you that's going to be able to say, that's my dad. My dad did that, right? And that's awesome. And now you can be an amazing father to your son. And brother, I'm just, I'm inspired by you. And I'm older than you, right? We know that, I'm older than you. I'm not in my 30s. I wish I was. I'm older than you, but I take inspiration, brother, from your hard work, your efforts, what you've accomplished at such a young age, man. You should be super proud of yourself. And I know right now, your parents, wherever they are today, brother, they're super proud of you for what you're doing, man. So, thank you for being you, Ben, and thank you for being a part of my life, and bringing Joe into our world. Joe's been an inspiration for us as well. He's been a great part of the team. He's done some great things for us out there in Kansas. So, man, I'm glad that we got a chance to have the two of you here on the show, because you guys are cool together too. I told you need to start a podcast. You guys are great friends. It'll be fun. You guys need to do it. It'll be fun, man. It'll be fun. We'll help you get it started.
Yeah.
But good stuff. Dave,
awesome.
Thank you, Devin. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, man, seriously. No, this is, you always pull up my heartstrings, guys. So, Dave, anything you'd like to say to Ben and Joe before we
if you're looking for real estate in Salina, Kansas, or anywhere in Kansas, there's only two people I'm calling. That's Ben and Joe. It looks like Ben can get you the house and Joe can get you the financing. So
well, and if you need the house fixed up, if you need somebody to come out and do some renovations, they know those guys too, right? These guys are plugged in that community. So it doesn't matter what you're looking for in real estate. They're going to find you a way to get what you want. And you're going to have a great experience. I know, because I work with both of these guys. In fact, Ben, he helped me purchase a home for my mother before she passed away. Joe, you did the financing, and it's my house and my company, but you took care of it for me, and you did a great job as well. So, thank you guys both for being who you are. Ben, when the folks out there want to find you, what's the best way to get in touch with you? How do we locate you?
So social media is great. Facebook, Ben Belshe, Real Broker LLC. My website is bensellskansas.com. And of course, reach me at my cell phone is 785-404-8391. Call or text anytime, any day. So
you heard it there, guys. Ben sells Kansas, and indeed he does. So if you need any help in Kansas, I know he doesn't love getting all the way up there northeast or southeast, but he'll do it if he needs to. So don't hesitate to give him a call. Kansas is a bigger state than some people give it credit for. It does stretch a little bit there. But brother, we put that across the bottom of the screen. So if you're watching this video, you saw that, jot that down and give him a call. You're going to be glad that you did. Also, if you're listening to this podcast, check the description. You'll get all that contact information there as well. And if you're looking to buy or purchase or do anything in Kansas or sell, call Ben. He's going to get you taken care of. Now, Joe, how about you, brother? So when the folks out there want to find you, and you're more than Kansas too, right? You've got a couple of licenses, correct?
Yeah. So I'm licensed in Kansas, Missouri, and Tennessee. And the best way to get a hold of me is my cell phone. I do have two phone numbers. I have a Salina number, which is 785-502-8954. Or I have a California number still, and it's 661-236-6444. Or you can find me on Facebook, Joe Loans Bondio, or Instagram, Joe Loans Bondio. And I also have a website called joeloganspondio.com. So, one of those. You can definitely get a hold of me on any one of those, and be happy to help you.
Well, and I also want to premise, guys, if you're in Kansas, you're looking to move, don't fear. It doesn't matter what state you're in. Joe actually works here on the Dubuc team. We're licensed in all 50 states, so it doesn't matter where you're looking to migrate to or migrate from. Joe's got you covered. So, if you need financing on a home mortgage, call any of those numbers and he will make sure that you get taken care of wherever you plan to move, unless it's outside of the United States. And then unfortunately, we won't be able to help you with that unless Ben wants to reach into his millions and just pay cash to buy the house for you. But again, Joe, we'll put all that across the bottom of the screen. So folks, you're seeing that if you're watching right now. And again, check the description for Joe's contact information. You're going to find it all there. So I think, Dave, is this a wrap?
I think it's a wrap.
I think it's a wrap, guys. All right. Well, we're your real estate success partners. I'm Devin Dubuc.
I'm David Nguyen.
If you want to check us out, come on over to realestatesuccesspartner.com. Again, that's realestatesuccesspartner.com. Or if you want to watch this, as we always say, come over to YouTube. Find us at the Dubuc team. We're going to be there on YouTube, IG, Facebook, or TikTok. And we'd love it if you come over there, subscribe, make some comments. We want to keep bringing this great content. Until the next time, we'll see you then.
See you guys.